Well, here's the lesson recording for week 6, which is May 6th through 12th for a web design class. And you can see, as usual, I break it down into the different days. So Tuesday of the week, you could do this work. Thursday of the week, you could do this work. You can schedule it any way you want, but I would suggest that you get the work done by Friday of the week. As you can see, we're wrapping up the WYSIWYG unit. What you see is what you get. We're going to be doing Section 3 and Section 4. There will be 2 assignments. There's a graphics assignment where you're putting pictures into your autobiography work, and then there's the navigation bar assignment. We're going to be linking the pages from one to another so you can go back and forth just like a website should work. Of course, you'll also turn in the Class Connect write-up, and you'll do the quiz. And as always on the quiz, make sure you look at the quiz preview, because I give you the questions for the quiz. Go find those answers, then go do the quiz. And we're getting pretty close to the end of this class. It's going pretty quickly, so I suggest you get things caught up. And then when you get into week 7, that's where you're doing the last main unit of work, and then week 8 and 9 are a different project that you can do. So I'm going to close that and go right into the work. Well, actually, one thing I want to mention again is I have these recordings that show you exactly how to do these specific assignments. So use those recordings. They'll really help. All right, here we are, week 6, Class Connect write-up. We always want to look at that first so we can answer the questions as we go along. So in Section 3, in what exact folder will you save all your images for autobiography? What is the minimum number of photos for the autobiography assignment? Why do you choose URL as relative to page location? When you add a caption, how do you automatically change the text so it's different from the rest of the text? What is a thumbnail? And how can you name your thumbnails so they're different from your full-size images? So lots of things to think about. And as we get into this, remember this is finishing up this unit that we started in week 5, and you're doing this autobiography that has 6 web pages to it. So this is a follow-up of doing that work. The week before, in Section 2, you worked on the tables, you created tables. So now in Section 3, you're adding graphics to those tables. Now when you add the graphics, those will be pictures that you'll use. And this is the exact folder where you'll save all those pictures. So in your Unit 4 folder, you'll create a folder called Images. They need to go in that place, please. So make sure you do that. Now as we look at this work, you may not have all the pictures. As if we go back to Section 2, and look at the different pages you're going to have. Let me see if I can find that. Remember, you're going to have an index or a page of what you look like now, page when you're a baby, all those different pages. Well, you may not have pictures for all of those, so you're welcome to use pictures that relate to it. For instance, last semester, one of the pages is elementary. So ideally, you'd have a picture of you during your elementary years. Well, if you don't have that, maybe go online and find a picture of your elementary school and use that picture, or something like that, or a picture of a pet that you had when you were in elementary school. The pictures do not have to be of you, but they need to be related to that page that you're creating. So looking at this, you're going to have a photo on each page of your website. So we have 6 pages, so that's 6 photos. Then on one page, you're going to put 3 or 4 thumbnail images. I'd suggest you do that on your index page. So if we think about the number of pictures, this is going to be 6 pictures right here, and then at least 3 more, so 9 is going to be the minimum number of pictures that you'll have. Now you want to make sure you resize your pictures. So this talks about it, and here you can click to find out about resizing your pictures. Now to get pictures, obviously you can take pictures of yourself. If you have older pictures, you can use those. You can also, if you have a photograph that you've had printed out, like your parents have from 10 years ago or something, you can take a picture of that with your phone and then create an image, email that image to yourself, and use it for this work. So there are lots of ways you can get a picture. You can also take a picture that's been printed out and you can scan it if you have a scanner. So there are different ways to do that. Now when you add your pictures, really important to think about this. You go in and you add your images. In this example right here, this is the name of Pam's picture, Pam Infant. So she adds it. She hits this box right here, it says URL is relative to page location. What that does is that makes sure that that picture travels along in the folder when you submit the zipped folder, when you submit the zipped Unit 4 folder. So always click URL is relative to page location, then alt text, you have to put in some kind of alt text. So please make sure you do those things properly. So first what Pam did, she went in right here, she hit choose file, went in and found the picture and it showed up right here. Then she hit URL is relative to page location. So you have to make sure you do that stuff. Advanced edit, you can do some other things with your picture if you want to. So that's putting your pictures in. This is where you can add a frame around your image that makes it look nicer, makes the pictures look nicer. So there's how you can do that. So make sure you do things properly and then center the picture within that frame or within the cell. Now as this says right here, you can double click on the picture to get into the image properties again if you want to change things. So in NVU, just double click the picture and then this window will pop up again for you to make changes you want to make. Now you're going to add a caption to the bottom of your picture. So the caption says what it means. So as this says right here, this is my NVU program. I'd right click just right to the right of that picture, hit enter, and then I'm down below it. And I would type in the text, then I highlight the text, and I go do my CSS styles. We've done that before. So that's how you make this text look different from the rest of the text in your document by using the CSS, the My Styles that you set up before. If you need a hint on how to do that, go back to the couple of other assignments from like section 1 and 2, I think section 1 mostly, it reminds you how to do the CSS. And I'll know if you're doing the CSS or not. So don't just go in and edit it and change the colors and typeface and things like that. Use the CSS. That's what you're supposed to do. Then also, if you need to, you would cite your sources. So if your picture came like this says, if you got a picture taken at Sears Photo Studio, they retain the rights to it. They have the copyrights. You can see right here how she put that in. Most of you probably won't have that. Thumbnails. Well, thumbnails, you've seen, like if you want to have a bunch of pictures on a website, but you don't want them really big because they take up too much space, then you use thumbnails. So if I click right here, then that opens up a bigger picture. So that's what a thumbnail is. It's a small size image of a picture that expands to be a bigger picture. And you can see that that picture ends up sitting on its own page. So that's what a thumbnail is. And it got that name because it might be the size of a person's thumbnail. But really not. They're a little bit bigger. Now this is what you're going to have at the bottom of one of your pages. And I would suggest you do it on your index page. And one of the assignments requirements says that you're going to have 3 pictures. So you would create this table at the bottom of your index page, and you'd put your 3 thumbnail images in that. And you'd put this so people know what to do with it. Now the thing about the thumbnail images, you want to make the names different so you know that those are the tiny images. So put the letters TH at the end of pictures, that way you know it's thumbnail. So like Pam right here, Pam1TH is the thumbnail, which is this one right here. That's her thumbnail. And then when she clicks on that, then it actually opens up the file called Pam1, the picture called Pam1. So you're going to end up with links that create a thumbnail. So you can see how to do that right here. URL is relative to page location again. So that's to do the thumbnail, and again I suggest you put this little 3-cell table on the bottom of your index page, and that's where you'll have your 3 thumbnails that are required for that one assignment. So the graphics assignment, at least 1 picture on each page of your autobiography. Use thumbnails for 3 photos on 1 page. Again, I suggest you put that little table with the thumbnails on the bottom of your index page. Link the thumbnail to larger images. Add a caption, citation if you need, border around the photos, and you submit your Unit 4 folder. That's all of that work. Okay, next, background graphics. You can do this if you want to. I'm not going to take the time to go through it. Here's a good program. It's called GIMP. It's really good for photo editing. So if you like to do that kind of stuff, download GIMP. Just do a search on GIMP, G-I-M-P, and you can find it where you can download it. Don't worry about putting backgrounds in. You can if you want to. You can be as creative as you want to. Don't worry about it, though. Okay, now we're in the navigation unit, but before we do that, let's go to the write-up. Actually, the week 6 write-up, isn't it? Make sure we answer the questions. So week 6, exact folder, I told you that at the beginning. Minimum number of photos, talked about that. URL is relative to page location. Why do you do that? We talked about that. How do you automatically change the information for the caption on image? Talked about that. Thumbnail image, why use it? Talked about that. And how can you name your thumbnail images different? We talked about that. Good. All right, lastly, describe what navbar does. What is the term used to make one page go to another? What would you include in the page to make a graphical navbar? Do you have to make a graphical navbar for autobiography? So now we're into the navigation section. So here we are. So navbar, of course, are links or buttons that go from one page to the next. And you're going to have a navbar. You've already, in one of the previous assignments, you created these text items, but you haven't linked them yet. But you're going to create links from these items on the left side of each page that go to different pages. So they're going to have you do that. So you open up your index page, then you want all the words on the index page to link to the other page. So you'd highlight the word birth. So you're on your index page, you highlight the word birth, then you click the link, and then you go choose where you want the birth to link to. And obviously you want it to link to your birth.html file. Then you click the word preschool, then link, and you want preschool to link to preschool.html. Now you can put colors on your links to make them look, there's default colors. You can do all kinds of things with the links, whatever you want to. So to go from page to page, that's called a link, isn't it? So those are putting in text links. So you'll do that on every one of your pages. So you go to index page and you put these 6 links in, or 5 links. Then you'll go to your birth page and you'll put the 5 links from the birth page. Then you go to the preschool page, put the 5 links from the preschool page, etc. Linking to the pages you want them to go to. Now you can also put buttons in. This would be a graphical navbar where you can put buttons, and I will not require this, but if you do put buttons in, I'll probably give you a little bit of extra credit. But what these amount to is you end up making these buttons are all images, and then you insert the images into that navbar instead of text, and you make those images link. Just remember that if you do this, follow these directions down here. You have to have all of your button images in your Unit 4 images folder. You have to make sure you choose URL as relative to page location, all of that. But you do not have to put buttons in. You can if you want to. So to wrap up the autobiography, making the navbar, this says add buttons. Again, you do not have to add buttons. You can use text links. So make the links go to each subpage, and each subpage go back to the index page, back to all the other pages, etc. So make sure everything links together. And you need to practice all this. Make sure everything works right. Now, one suggestion I have is that once you get it all done and saved, you can copy your Unit 4 folder onto a flash drive and put it in another computer and see if everything works on that other computer. The reason I have you do that is because sometimes things can work on your own machine, but then when you take it to another computer, they don't work. So you have some fixing to do. So I would suggest you do that. So make sure all the links work right. So go up to your index page, make sure everything links to all the other pages, the birth button, go down all the buttons, make sure they link right from all the pages to all the pages. Now the last thing on this, remember your autobiography, it should look different. All the text, like the title at the top, the text needs to look different from the main paragraph text, which should look different from your captions text. And all that was done with CSS. Now this has an X button here, the discussion on WYSIWYG, we're not doing that, so you skip that assignment. So going back to this, the work for this week, for week 6, is you're wrapping up your autobiography by doing the graphics assignment, which is putting the pictures in, and by doing the navbar work. And I have recordings right here to tell you exactly how to do that. So you're going to end up with an autobiography that has 6 pages, has at least 9 pictures, all of those requirements. And I do suggest you watch the recordings. If you turn in this work and it's not working right, it's not looking good, I'm going to say go back and look at the recording, because those tell you exactly how to do it. I took a lot of time to create those recordings so the work comes out perfectly. So it should work out fine with you if you follow those recordings. Now let's go back to the week 6 questions. The write-up questions, make sure I answered that last one. Describe what a navbar does. Told you that. What is the term used to go from one page to another? What would you include in your page to make a graphical navbar? Talked about that. Do you have to make a graphical navbar? Talked about that. So everything is answered. Week 6 is finished. And then week 7, you're moving into the next unit, copyright law unit. So I look forward to your work coming in, and if you are not up to about 500 points or 400 points in this class, then you're probably failing the class. Please get old work turned in. It's not that difficult to do. So thanks everyone. I look forward to your work and talk to you next week. Bye.